guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm King Dino, and on this episode I'm going to be showing you how to clean your camp oven, even a Jaffle iron, and also how to season it. On last week's midweek episode, I asked you guys, is there anything you would like Adam and I to try to get our hands on to road test, or any tips and tricks we can teach you guys about anything to do with van life. Well, Michelle, thank you so much. It was your idea, this episode, and let's get on with it now. We've just gotten back from doing another camp cooking episode, which you guys will see very soon in the near future. Now, one thing we didn't do this time was clean our camp oven while we're there. So normally after we've eaten, we would put some cold water into the pot. I'd throw it onto the fire, give it a bit of a rinse around, get it really nice and hot, clean all the gunk out of there, and then wipe it out with some paper towel. Then what you need to do is get it nice and dry, get it back in that fire, and if you're happy with it, the way it looks, and there's no rust, then we can just give it a spray with some oil, and you're pretty much set for next time. But let's have a look in the pot and see what we've come home with. So this might not be the nicest sight, but let's have a look inside. Okay, it's not too bad. You can see there's a bit of gunk around the edges, and because we've left liquid inside and it's dried up, it's starting to create a bit of rust there. So we're gonna need to get that rust off the pot before we seal it again. So we're gonna use this today, and you can use this. If it's really, really bad, you can get attachments on your drill that have these kind of wire brushes on them, and you can really give it a good hard scrub to get that off. But we'll only need this today and a bit of warm water. So I'm gonna pop this on to the stove now, heat it up, and try to get this gunk off, and then I'll try to get this rust off. So it's on top of the stove, and I'm just going around with this cloth and just trying to get all that gunk off the sides. I'm gonna now take this, before I add a bit more water to it, I'm gonna probably take this into the laundry because this is gonna get messy. So we've made it into the laundry, and now I'm gonna start attacking it because that water is hot. So I'm gonna start attacking it with my wire brush and just giving it a good old scrub. And I'll be using the same water to start cleaning my lid. So getting all that soot off it, or whatever you want to call it. And then as well, I'm going to be cleaning the bottom of this also. Like I was saying, it's a dirty job, but I'm pretty happy with that. We're all clean inside, no rust, and the outside's clean as well. Now we've got to get this really dry. So I'm going to use paper towel, get it dried off, and then I'm going to throw it into the oven. All right, besides a little bit of white tissue paper sprinkled through, which you can use a cloth rather than paper, I'm liking the look of this. So like I said, I'll chuck this in the oven on really high, but before I do that, just mind the mess, I need to get this baby cleaned up. So I'm just going to use hot water on this and a scrubbing brush again, and we'll get it looking clean. I've given it a good scrub. It's come out really good. Nothing left on there. And now it's just a matter of getting it dry, just like the camp oven. And then we'll get it extra dry by putting it on direct heat. So I've got the oven on as high as it can go. You can use a barbecue for this if it's got one of the hoods on it. You can crank that up, get it hot, or otherwise use an outdoor fire. All I'm doing at the moment is getting these babies hot and dry before I add my oil in. So I'm just gonna pop that in there to get nice and hot. Now a good tip is, make sure you set the right height on your shelves before you start this, because you don't want to be burning your hands and trying to work out the shelf height. So I've taken all the shelves out except for this one, so I can get the heat underneath it. If you've got feet on your camp oven, you should be fine. But let's get that closed up to keep the heat in. So I'm just popping that straight onto the flame. I'm gonna flip that over, and then after it gets really hot, I'm gonna open it up and get it hot on the inside also to make sure there's absolutely no water left on this before I oil it. So while those pots are drying out, we're going to take Twyla for a walk. So we're back now from our walk with Twyla, and I've gotten the camp oven out of the oven and I've set it on top just to cool down to the point where I can actually rub a cloth on it without burning my hands. So it's looking pretty special. It's so nice and clean. Now I'm going to give it a spray. Now you can use vegetable oil, canola oil, you can even use some sort of rice oil, but I'm just using olive oil. Don't come for me. I know not everyone uses olive oil, but I find it works just as good as all the others. So that's all I'm doing, just a quick spray, and then I'm just going to go in with my paper towel and we're going to wipe out all the excess. You want the finest layer of oil left on, and that is it. I'm just going to repeat the same thing, give it a spray and a big wipe over. The oven is back up as high as it can go. We're going to pop these back into the oven now they've been oiled. With your pot, you're going to be putting it upside down, and you can do the same on your barbecue also, and then close it up. Now, if you're wondering why I put the pot in upside down, we just don't want the oil to pool at the bottom. So by putting it upside down, that stops that from happening. Now it's time to repeat the process on my Jaffle iron. So now that I've finished that process, I'm just putting it back on the flame, gonna get it really hot again, and then just give it one more wipe over, and that is ready for our next camping trip. So while they're both doing their thing, I'll let you know, definitely if you do have a barbecue, do it outside because it will smoke. The oil, once it heats up, it will have a lot of smoke. So if you've got fire detectors, you've got to be careful your alarm doesn't go off. But so far so good, it's not too bad. But we'll see once we open the oven how much smoke comes out. So now this is getting really hot, and you can see all of that smoke coming off it. And this is why you're better off doing this outside, not inside like I'm doing. So this is almost done. This is how I want it to look. I just want it to look black, dry. This side's still going, so I've got this still on the heat. Once it's like this, I'll take it off. So it's been 45 minutes. I'm just going to turn the oven off completely. And when I open this up, you'll see all the smoke come out, and make sure you got your fans on. Woo! So after 45 minutes in the oven, you can imagine how hot these babies are. So I'm just going to leave them here to cool. So I've gotten on to cooking dinner duties in the meanwhile while they cool down. And if you want to know the time for this little guy, he only took 15 minutes on top of the stove top to get nice and dry. And now that has cooled down. So when I oil these guys again, I'll give one oil to this one before putting him away for our next camping trip. Cool down, I've got the lid of spray. I've sprayed a bit in here, just put a little bit more. That's all you need. And then wipe it over one more time. And then we're just going to pop them away, ready for next time. Also remember to do the bottom of your pot, and the outside is just as important as the end, really. Well guys, these have turned out absolutely incredible. Look, back to black, exactly how you want them. They've got that nice sheen to them now with that final glaze of the oil over them. So they are all ready to go for another adventure. Well guys, if you haven't already, make sure you go down the bottom, like and subscribe, and tell your friends about us. And until next Sunday at 5 o'clock, we'll see you then. See you guys.